All right, everybody. Good afternoon. We're live near the near the mall right now. This is the Defeat the Mandates march that is happening right now. So thousands of people are out here on the National Mall against vaccine mandates. Some folks against mask mandates. You have a lot of people out here. The crowd is getting thicker and thicker by the moment. We are noticing a lot of different signs. We're seeing signs that folks are asking for mandates to be ended, saying that they have freedom. Freedom is absolute. We're seeing that on signs. We're seeing a lot of Trump signs as well, a lot of Trump paraphernalia as well. So folks are making their points known here today. We have folks, I've been talking to folks throughout the early part of this morning and afternoon, and I'm joined now with one father. Tell me your name again.
My name is Kevin Gemmeroy.
And Kevin, you said that you traveled here all the way from Arizona, but tell us a little bit of your backstory as to why you even ended up living in Arizona.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm the CEO of a tech company in Seattle, Washington, and in August of 2020, we moved our family from Seattle to Scottsdale, Arizona because of forced school closures and the impact that we knew that that would have on our family.
Okay, you talked about one of your children learning about one of their one of their limitations currently, differences. Yeah, there you go. You learned that through the pandemic. Tell me what you learned about your child's learning abilities.
You bet. So when we moved to Scottsdale, we had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And one of them we have learned had a major speech delay, and the other has dyslexia. And unfortunately, there is basically no treatment available that's done correctly for those conditions right now in places like Seattle. So we were able to get our oldest child an 8-week intensive intervention to help teach him how to read, and our youngest has been able to do in-person speech therapy for 18 months, unmasked, so that he actually has the ability to learn how to use his mouth and see the therapist's mouth and correctly learn how to speak. So.
And you yourself, Kevin, are fully vaccinated. Tell me why you decided to get vaccinated.
Yeah, thank you. So I was fully vaccinated as quickly as I could be. That was March of 2021 was when that was available in Arizona to me. I did it because we were told that it prevented people from getting COVID and that it would reduce the likelihood of me transmitting it to my family. And within 4 months of being fully vaccinated, I had COVID and I transmitted it to my family. And so my children are naturally immune. My wife was also fully vaccinated, contracted COVID it was about 3 months after she was able to get vaccinated. And, we are here today to advocate for natural immunity and the end to mask mandates. Vaccine mandates don't stop people from getting COVID. We all know that at this point. All they're doing is discriminating.
So you are against vaccine mandates, but do you support people's right to get vaccinated, or do you support the vaccine at all?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the vaccine has worked miracles for the people that it was designed to protect, which are people that are higher risk, people that are a little bit older. I'm 40. I would still get vaccinated today if I was given the same option. But I don't want my 7-year-old who's naturally immune to be forced to be vaccinated, which is still happening in major cities all throughout the U.S.
You said that your son is naturally immune. What are you basing that off of?
He tested positive for COVID after I got COVID. And then a few days later, he tested negative. We went through all the appropriate quarantine protocols. And so we know that he was infected and he recovered. And we know that he has a level of immunity which is sufficient to protect him. The latest CDC data that came out just this last week showed that natural immunity was 5, 6, 7 times more protective against reinfection during the Delta wave than the vaccinated immunity was.
What do you say when you see cities like this region, for instance, when some of the mask mandates were lifted, we kind of saw a surge in COVID cases. So do you think that there's any benefit to wearing a mask, or do you just not think there's a benefit at all?
I think that there is a benefit to wearing the right type of masks in the right situations. Healthcare workers are taught how to wear a fit tested N95 mask. Those work. There's no question that those make an impact. I think the average cloth mask that the average American wears, which is not very well fitting, doesn't do much of anything to protect anybody against COVID. And you saw those same spikes everywhere, regardless of whether they were mask mandated or unmask mandated areas. So.
And you brought your son out here with you. How old is your son?
He's 7. You want to say hi?
He's 7. So why do you think it's important for your 7-year-old to see this?
I think it's important for him to understand that we as a people in this country had to fight for our freedom. And unfortunately, we're in a situation now that the government has tried to push all of these mandates on us, which are questionably legal. They're getting overturned left and right by judges in the Supreme Court and all sorts of federal district courts. And I think we need to fight for our freedom and the ability to choose our health choices. I don't want to give anybody COVID. I didn't ever want to get COVID, but everybody's going to get COVID. And there's not much of anything that we can do about it. So at least we can do is stop the natural disaster, stop the man-made disaster that's accompanying the natural disaster that is this pandemic.
Thank you so much. I'll let you guys go ahead and march. You're marching towards the Capitol, correct?
Yes. Oh, we're marching towards the Lincoln Memorial.
Excuse me, the Lincoln Memorial. Yeah. Excuse me. Well, the Capitol is right there, but yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. You guys take care. Again, yeah, people from all walks of life are out here. He made a point talking about he wants his son to understand how to fight for his freedoms, and so that's what some people's message is today. Over off in the distance, we have some folks who are spreading a message today about Jesus. They said earlier at the beginning that they were from North Carolina, so you have people who have come from near and far. Like we said, Kevin just traveled all the way from Arizona, originally from Washington, said he relocated because of the pandemic, and he thought that it would be best for his children to attend school and go to schools without certain mandates. Also, he said that he is fully vaccinated. You have some folks who are out here. Most people seem to be unmasked. Some people are wearing masks. But yeah, everyone has a little bit of a different message. So they're going to be marching towards the Lincoln Memorial. We're starting here along the mall now, and they're going that way. We'll be walking along with them. We haven't noticed any kind of danger or threat to anyone like that. Things right now are peaceful. You have folks who do have a difference of opinion. If you put folks out here who are in support of vaccines and in support of mandates, so we're going to walk this way. My photographer Ruth is walking with me, and so you have some people who don't feel that way about this issue. They feel like masks and vaccine mandates are okay, but the vast majority of people out here do not feel that way. And so we're going to stay off of certain signs because some signs are, not the most friendly signs. So we don't want to show those to you guys. But again, if you're just tuning in, we are marching with the folks who are here to defeat mandates, they say. Starting at the mall, marching towards the Lincoln Memorial. That is happening right now. This sign right here in front of it says, "Let doctors be doctors. Early treatment works." What brought you out here today?
I'm just very anti-mandate. I think it's illegal to force people to get experimental vaccine, especially with all the data coming out about people having adverse reactions to it and stuff. So I just wanted to show my support.
Do you live here in DC?
I do not. I live in Arizona.
Oh, you're the second person from Arizona I've met. What brought you? So this brought you all the way from Arizona for this?
Yes.
You thought it was that important to travel. So what do you want? What do you want your lawmakers and what do you want your friends and family to understand about your fight here today?
I want them to understand that this is not something that the American people will take. I think that it's awesome that people are standing up to their jobs and their employers and saying, no, I'm not going to get this, even if it is weekly COVID testing, even though the vaccinated can still catch COVID. So I think that they should still be required to get COVID tests, not just the unvaccinated. But I think the lawmakers in Arizona, I think that's evident to them now.
Are you vaccinated?
I am not.
And why did you choose to not get vaccinated?
I think it was developed way too soon. Like, regardless of which president developed it, it doesn't really matter. What happened?
I'm sorry, she's talking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
What was the question? I forgot.
You said you chose not to get vaccinated.
Yeah, it just was developed way too soon for me. I mean, I feel like maybe in a year, if the studies, if there's more research and data shown about it, then I will I can make that choice for myself.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay. Are you a college student by chance or graduated recently?
I just graduated, yes.
Okay. All right. Have you had trouble finding a job since you're not vaccinated?
Mm-mm. I already had the jobs. They were just requiring COVID testing weekly.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, the march is underway right now. We're going to step out of the crowd some just to make sure that we're in a safe spot. Again, you have some folks who are out here who are masked, even though part of this is to end mandates. They're choosing to be masked. So again, folks are marching towards the Lincoln Memorial now. Again, so far, everything has been relatively peaceful. And folks have traveled from near and far. I've heard folks talking about being as far from Texas as well. So we've talked to two people, ironically, from Arizona. Open borders, but I have to carry a passport. What do you mean when you say open borders, but you have to carry a passport?
Oh, please. To get in some of these places, I have to have a vaccine passport. That's ridiculous.
Where are you from, ma'am?
North Carolina.
And what brought you up here to D.C.? What part of North Carolina did you come from?
Raleigh.
Okay, you guys just had some snow down there, so you came all the way up, fought the weather, because you just don't believe it. Are you a vaccinated person?
I'm not answering that.
Okay, is you just want the passports, the vaccine mandates to end
I
them?
don't think they should be telling us what we do with our bodies. If we want the vaccine, take it. If you don't. But don't tell me I have to take a vaccine for something that is 99.9% survivable. That's ridiculous.
What do you say to the millions of Americans or hundreds of thousands of Americans who have contracted it and died?
They all had underlying, they had comorbidities, and the statistics are saying they died from COVID. No, they died with COVID, and they're not differentiating that on their death certificates.
Okay, so you don't believe that the virus actually killed anybody?
I'm sure it killed some people. It killed just like the flu kills people every year, but not to this extent that they're saying.
Do you feel that maybe it might be some COVID exhaustion you might be experiencing?
Yeah, yeah, but it's gone on for 2 years. It's time to let it go. Open up the schools, the restaurants, everything. Let people go back to work. Don't fire people because they don't want to take the shot. Let them work. And if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Masks don't work. His might, yours doesn't. And just, they need to listen to the Supreme Court, but they also need to open up and waive the mandate for healthcare workers also.
Okay. Do you have school-age children by chance?
I do not.
Okay. So do you think that masks should be worn in schools or?
Children are even less likely, I guess that's the word, to catch COVID. So that is just, it's stunning their growth, not in height and width, but their social skills. And we're ruining our children and then sending them home to learn virtually. They are just killing our, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Our spirit?
Our heirs, the people who are going to be leading this country one day.
The generations behind you.
Yes.
Posterity.
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, your sign rather says anti-mandate, we want to be free. Do you not feel free in America today?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
The unvaccinated are being segregated. We're being treated like we're criminals and we don't care about people. We care deeply about people. We care. It's not, people are misunderstanding us. Seriously. What happened to natural immunity? What happened? So many people go to church. Do you believe in God's power? What do we believe? Come on, everything in the Bible. We go to church and then we're afraid. This is the land of the brave and the free. I'm from another country. How do we form this country? I'm from Taiwan. And Taiwan is being, it's in a situation where we need to stand up. People die. more people die of flu, AIDS, and everything else. And if we let this thing happen this time, there's not an end. If you guys ever been to other country, if you came from another country, you will know why we need to defend and why we need to stop this mandate.
Do you live here in D.C. or do you live in North Carolina with
I
them?
live in North Carolina.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you guys get to it. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy.
I do have school age.
Okay. We have one more who wants to say something. Go ahead.
I have school age children, and I've spoken at our county school board 4 times, along with some other friends, and we finally got our children unmuzzled. It's psychologically, intellectually, and emotionally and physically dangerous to children. There are 24 types of health problems that children will get from wearing masks, from breathing in the fibers to the bacteria-laden germs that are in the mask. And
What are you basing that on?
science, reading from doctors and so forth. Okay, cloth masks are going to shed fibers. You're going to inhale the fibers. Most people are not springing for the actual high quality mask because it costs a little more. Most people are not changing their mask every hour or two as should be done. Paper and cloth masks, the inexpensive kind, are very, very ineffective. The pore size is 3 times larger than the size of the virus. And it's muzzling us, it's isolating us, it's separating us, it's hiding smiles, and it's dangerous. It's all about tyranny. They unleashed the bioweapon so that they could steal our elections and
Okay,
control people.
well, we don't know exactly if that's true, so we don't want to say that. But I appreciate your opinion, and
Irrefutable proof.
I understand that. So again, these folks traveled. All of you guys are from North Carolina? Okay, from Raleigh, North Carolina, made their way to Washington, D.C. And so, okay.
I myself got over COVID.
Okay, are you vaccinated?
No.
Okay.
Nor will I be. Don't need to be.
Okay.
I got over it in less than a week with
So-
ivermectin.
So what, if you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys so much. If you guys, we're with WSA 9 CBS, the local CBS affiliate. Yeah. So this is happening now. Folks are. Thank you guys. Okay, you guys take care. Enjoy the march. So they're marching now towards the Lincoln Memorial. Again, folks with a lot of different opinions. Those folks traveled all the way from North Carolina to be here, and folks are still coming by the hundreds towards the Lincoln Memorial right now. A lot of different signs here. A lot of different folks here from near and from far. Haven't met, and I've talked to a few people before we started this broadcast, haven't met a ton of people who seem to be local. And so we're in the thick of things right now, but keeping a safe space from folks to make sure that they're comfortable with our presence as well. So we have some more folks here. How you guys doing? My name is Megan. I'm from CBS. Where are you guys from, and what brought you here today?
We're actually from Virginia, originally from Texas, and we're here because we feel like it's really important for people to have freedom and information to make choices.
Okay, what part of Virginia you from?
We're from Northern Virginia, actually.
Okay, so you guys are in the thick of a kind of debate yourself right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Governor Youngkin's executive orders to attempt to overthrow mask mandates in schools?
We totally support that. We know that COVID is not dangerous for children, but masks are really detrimental. We've seen our own kids suffer from not being able to even recognize faces and that sort of thing, which sounds surface level, but it's really foundational to developing as a person. But they're also unhealthy. And my husband is a scientist. He actually studied masks. And so a year ago, we found out that the size of the molecule just flies through those masks, like a tennis ball flying through an open door. So if you do have COVID, it's not actually stopping it. So for that reason, we know there's no protection with masks. Sorry, that was too long of an answer.
It's fine. Are you yourself vaccinated, ma'am?
No. We had COVID, and we didn't even have symptoms. Did you? Tell them about that.
No, I didn't have any symptoms. I was totally fine. It was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you feel like the mandate should end, but what do you feel about, restaurants and certain facilities having to require folks to show proof of vaccination? Are you not in support of that?
Well, I feel like that's tyranny. It should be each individual's choice. And because the vaccinations don't actually prevent you from getting or giving COVID, it's not affecting other people. It's not protecting anyone else, whether you have it or not. So it doesn't make sense to me at all. It's horrible to live in this area. We feel like we're under communism or something, like we can't even make our own choices, go in our own places, even when we know we are thinking about others and keeping them safe.
We talked to some people who actually relocated because of the pandemic. Have you thought about moving out of Northern Virginia?
We're planning to move as far away as we can, anywhere from a big city that's going to be crushing freedom, because we really believe it's not actually helping people. If wearing a mask and getting a vaccine actually protected other people, we would consider it. And at that point, we would want to actually see the data and make our own choice, but because we know it does neither, we can't support any of that.
Thank you so much. You guys enjoy the march.
So
No, you're fine.
So much to say.
You're
Thank you
fine.
for talking to us.
Enjoy, yeah. So there we go. We met our first family from Northern Virginia here. They are planning to relocate because of the mandates in this area. So again, as you can see towards the Lincoln Memorial, the crowd is getting pretty thick. We're gonna kind of stay back and see if we can talk to more folks who've decided to come out to this rally. We have a sign here that says freedom is not selfish. Let's ask her. Ma'am, you said freedom is not selfish. What do you mean by that?
Freedom of choice. That's not selfish. That's what America's principles were founded on.
Okay, so why do you feel like the mandates are a bad thing?
This is an experimental vaccine. It's not proven. That takes 10 years. I think it should be a choice. If people that want it should be able to get it. People that want to wait and see how it is. COVID, a lot of the people that have died had comorbidities, and it's not dangerous for children. I mean, children have died, but they typically had other health issues, and we don't know what the long-term effects of this is going to be. People should be able to make a choice. They on every drug that we take, right? There's all the warnings for all the danger things. There's nothing being reported of the dangers of this. It's wrong.
Okay. And where did you travel from today?
Virginia.
Okay. Oh, do you live in Northern Virginia?
No, Southwest Virginia.
Okay. So how do you feel about the debate that's going on now in Virginia with Governor Youngkin's new executive order to have it as a choice for parents to send their kids to school with masks?
I think it should be a choice. It should be a choice. COVID is not really very dangerous for children, and I have young grandchildren. They need to be able to see people's faces. They're learning to talk. Kids are having great deals of depression now. We're not meant to have our face masks, and children don't need to be looking at that all day long.
Do you ever plan to get vaccinated against the COVID-19?
I don't know. I'm going to watch and wait and see. I've got natural immunity. But
you already had it?
I had it, yeah,
okay.
And I survived, and I was fine. And I think America would have been a lot better if we hadn't shut down and locked the healthy people up, keep them safe, and let America develop herd immunity. I think we would have been in much better shape in so many ways.
What about the hundreds of thousands of people, though, who died?
Well, like I said, most of them had other comorbidities. They're blaming it all on anyone that died from anything. They could have been in a car crash, and if they tested positive for COVID, they were labeled a COVID death.
What are you basing that on? You're saying that if they had a car crash, they were labeled as a COVID death.
There's a difference between dying with COVID and from COVID, okay? So you go in for some other issue, like a car wreck, a motorcycle crash, they tested positive for COVID, they mark it as a COVID death.
But how do you know that they tested those people for COVID?
Well, they're testing everybody for COVID because they're financially they are. Okay. Yes, and
they test them before they die.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
Right, they test them before they die.
Right, and
everyone that comes in the hospital, they test.
Okay. Yeah, the CDC is even admitting that these numbers are way inflated.
Are you from Virginia too?
No, Indiana.
Okay, did you come here for this?
Yes.
Okay, what made you travel this far?
Well, my sign says vaccine reactions are not rare. They are rarely reported. And then I have 8 children, and 2 in my own family who have been vaccinated had irregular EKGs, heart pain, chest pains, and so on. They didn't need it. and then they were vaccinated and got COVID anyway. So the vaccine isn't even working. My point is I'm not anti-vax. I've been fully vaccinated. I've vaccinated all my kids. My point is it shouldn't be forced. This is an experimental gene therapy that we don't have long-term results on. So let us have a choice. I personally know people who have been told if you get this, like cancer survivors and so on, if you get this vaccine, it will probably kill you. They applied for a medical exemption and were denied. So they have a choice of getting the vaccine and dying or losing their job. What would you do? So they resigned. So, it's just not right. That person should have a choice on do what's best for him between him and his doctors. And he had 2 doctors, and he himself is a doctor, recommend don't get this, and he was denied by his employer.
You said you were fully vaccinated. Do you plan to get the booster shot?
I'm not fully vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated.
You said your kids are fully vaccinated?
My kids that got the COVID vaccine had adverse reactions. Several of them did. So they were forced to. I have 2 in the Marine Corps. I have others in grad school and jobs where they were forced to get it, and they had chest pain and severe chest pain, irregular EKG. So they didn't want to get it, and they paid the consequences, and they're still paying the consequences. It's just wrong. They should have had a choice.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good day.
You guys enjoy the rally. Okay, you guys. So we are going to wrap up this live right now. Again, you heard the woman we just spoke with. She traveled from Indiana. She's with her friend who is from the southern part of Virginia. Some of them, it's not a matter of whether they believe in vaccines or believe in masks, but they think it should just simply be a freedom and a choice for people. So we are going to wrap this thing up. Again, folks are marching now towards the Lincoln Memorial. A few thousand people out here, tons of people out here. The crowd is getting really thick. They're not on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, but they're all filling up this area around here. Again, this is a Defeat the Mandates march happening right now in Washington, D.C., and people have traveled from near and far. So we'll be doing one of these a little bit later on today. We'll have updates for you on WUSA9.com, and we'll have a full story for you tonight on WUSA 9 at 11. Reporting live here near the Lincoln Memorial, I'm Megan Rivers. Talk to you guys later.